You've done the work, you've shown results, you've served clients, you've delivered value. Maybe you've even gotten great feedback, but deep down within you, you still feel like a fraud. You still feel like, oh, you're not good enough. You still feel like, oh, I'm just lucky. It's just luck. Or you still feel like, oh, you're not where you planned or you wish to be yet. Same, my dear friend. Hello, welcome back to day 12 of Event Pro Real Talk, where I'm sharing the raw, unfiltered truth about building a business, especially for those of us in the events, creative work, and service-based businesses. Today, we're talking about something so many of us battle with: imposter syndrome. You know, that nagging voice that whispers to you, oh, who do you think you are to charge that amount? Or what if they find out that you're not as good as they think? You know, that voice. Now, let's talk about it. Now, in this industry of ours, in the creative industry, imposter syndrome shows up a lot. Why do I say that? Because, so much of our work is personal. So, our brand is usually us, because we are kind of like the face of the business. So whatever we do, right? Because it's our ideas, it's our art, it's our planning, it's our style. So whatever we do reflects us, right? So when somebody critiques the business, it kind of feels like they are critiquing us as well, because we're kind of the face. We are basically the whole brand, right? As a solopreneur, you don't get annual reviews or promotions to say, oh, you're growing, something to validate your growth. There's no CEO of the month plaque or something. It's just you working behind the scenes, hoping that someone notices how good you're coming, how good you are. Now, I remember a time when I planned one event. Event went fantastic. Everything was good. The client was happy. Everything looked beautiful. We took amazing pictures, beautiful videos, and all of that. But that night, I got home, I looked myself in the mirror, and I just thought, maybe today was just another lucky day. Talking about it now, remembering that in that time, I could say to myself, like, what was wrong with you? Why would you even say that? You worked hard for that event. You put in everything. That's why the event came out nice. Why do you think it's just luck? Why don't you think it's the work that you've put in? But that was me then, right? Until I probably grew better and knew better, right? You could also be in that position right now. Or you could say, oh, why would I even think that? But trust me, there are people like me who felt that before. Now, that night, after thinking about, thinking that it was just luck, I didn't recognize my effort. I didn't recognize the months of planning, the time that I put in, the phone calls, the research, the everything that I did. I just dismissed it off as just luck. Why? Because I didn't feel seen. I didn't feel successful. I didn't feel good. I didn't feel like I could own this. I didn't feel like I could be able to do this. Right? It's insane. But yeah, it happens. Back then, I wasn't getting tons of DMs or messages or viral content. I wasn't booking out, getting booked months away, But that didn't mean that I wasn't growing. That didn't mean that I wasn't moving forward. I was just not seeing my growth clearly, or I wasn't seeing it the way I thought it should be, the way, the regular way that I thought it could be laid out. But I was growing anyways. Look at me now. The difference is clear, right? Imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you're not good enough. It doesn't mean that you're not good at what you do. It just means that you're stepping into a new level that your mind hasn't caught up with yet. And it just takes time. You just need to be patient with yourself, right? It's just like, it's like walking into a room that you prayed to be in. And then when you get into that room, you're wondering to yourself, oh, do I really belong here? But the truth is, you earned your place there. Do you think you could have just got in there? No, you worked to get in there. You prayed, right? That's effort that you put in. You prayed and you probably did some extra work to be able to be in that room. And now you're in that room. Why do you think you don't belong there? Why do you think you don't deserve to be there? Right? So every client you served, every hour you spent learning, every single risk that you took, all of that has led you where you are right now. So the way to silence that voice is not by faking your confidence. It's not by saying, oh, it's by evidence. It's by doing the work. Show up, do the work, do what it takes. And you see, when you look back, you see your results, right? You don't need, more hype. You don't need more clarity on what you've actually done. One of the biggest shifts for me was being able to build a structure for my business. When you know your process, your workflow, your boundaries, your path, when you have a proper system for your business, you most likely you stop questioning yourself so much, right? I created checklists, feedback loops, and templates for everything. From how I respond to client inquiries, from how I sent quotes, from how I reviewed finished projects, from how I even tracked my wins. This structure kind of helps me stop asking, oh, am I even doing this right? Or am I just starting? But instead, I could say proudly, confidently, this is how I do it. And this is how it works. Because I was able to build the system and I was able to follow through it. And I grew out of that imposter syndrome phase, out of questioning myself or questioning my growth or thinking I wasn't good enough. I was just being lucky. I grew out of that because my systems were speaking for itself, right? When I look back, when I look through my books, I could see, oh, you have definitely grown, right? That's why it's important to write your steps, track your records, track everything, have systems that put things in place that will help you keep things running, such that when you look back, your growth might not be like every other person's, but you're definitely growing. When you look back, you'll see how far you've come. Now, imposter syndrome doesn't mean that you're fake. It doesn't mean that you're not real. It just means that you care. It means that you're growing. And you see that voice of doubt? It gets quieter every time you keep showing up. You don't need more proof. You just need to believe the proof that you already have. Well, if this resonated with you, please do subscribe. We'll still have about 8 days of raw, real talk left in this series. And do drop a comment below if you've ever felt this way. And if you're ready to build real structure and confidence, the ELITE Toolkit is linked below in the description. Let's silence that doubt for good. I'll see you tomorrow for day 13. Cheers.